Welcome to the Spider Cellar. I'm Shayla and I build and design miniature worlds. Today, I'm building that makeshift chopping block in the Riften Ratway. But there's a twist here. This isn't just a diorama. It's also a working LED lantern. Once I rip out this fake candle with my mini Dremel, that is. If you've ever played Skyrim, you'll recognize this scene from the start of the Thieves Guild questline. I remember my first playthrough. I had barely stepped foot in Riften when I heard a guard say,
"You could say that the Ratway is the city under the city. Dark, dangerous, and no place for decent folk."
So naturally, I went to the Ratway, where I stumbled upon this bloody scene. For a scene that has no in-game purpose other than storytelling, it's definitely a memorable one, and I've been wanting to replicate it for a very long time. So, now that I've secured and prepped the foam base, I'm just carving out some cobblestone texture with my X-Acto knife. There's no trick to doing this, just carve little rock shapes until the foam is covered. And rocks aren't perfectly round, so I welcome all the imperfections that come with my shaky hands. It adds to the realism. And now I'm going to use this crumpled up piece of aluminum foil, press and roll it along the surface of the foam to give it a nice rocky texture. For the paint, I'm using a light gray and a yellow green, and I've mixed them together with slightly more gray than green. You can see I primed the foam with black paint and Mod Podge before painting, but I really want to coat the primed layer as much as possible, making sure to get in all the creases that I carved earlier. And I'm going straight to the wash phase first. Here, I've mixed a dark yellow wash with a few drops of black wash, and I'm applying it right into the creases of the stonework. And I realize it looks very yellow right now, but it's not going to stay that way. For the dry brushing, I'm using a very light gray and a tiny amount of paint that I've blotted repeatedly first to create highlights and tone down the yellow a bit. Next, I'm mixing together some planting soil with some PVA glue to create some dirt that's a bit easier to work with and shape. I've never tried this way before. I usually use coconut fiber because, fun fact, I own many reptiles and coconut fiber makes a good substrate. But it comes in brick form and you have to soak it in water for a long time, and I didn't want to wait, so here we are. But I'm not done with the cobblestones just yet. I've thinly spread some PVA glue along the cracks, and I'm sprinkling some light flocking where I want the moss to appear. For the foliage, I found some cheap plastic palm trees that I'm beheading. How fitting for this build. And then I'm going to attempt to turn them into ferns. They look very much like plastic, and I don't want that, so I'm just lightly brushing over them with some yellow-green paint, mostly just to tone down the shine and give a more matte finish. I couldn't decide how to arrange the ferns. This is maybe the fourth arrangement I'd considered, but sometimes when I'm feeling indecisive, I just become impulsive instead. And that's that. Now to make the bloodied execution block with this ball of tinfoil and some milliput. I've mentioned my love for Milliput before, and no, I'm not affiliated, but when it comes to sculpting, I prefer products that air dry, and this 2-part epoxy putty dries quick, within 5 hours. Once I've stretched it out evenly over the ball of tin foil, I'm just going to smooth it out and shape it into a tree stump. Or marshmallow? Using this cheap dental tool, I'm going all the way around the stump, carving rough vertical lines in the Milliput before it dries and hardens. The Milliput will start to cure as you go, and it might flake a little, but it's perfectly fine to just wipe away the flaky pieces and continue carving. I'm placing rings in the center of the cross-section here to finish off the carved details before I let it finish drying and before I start painting. And I'm going with a lovely golden brown here, making sure to evenly cover up all the white parts. It's okay to layer on the paint. As you can see, the lines I carved are pretty deep, so extra paint isn't going to harm any of the detail. The wash I'm using here is a dark brown, and I'm applying it pretty liberally because I want it to soak right into the creases. But it needs some highlights too. So using the dry brushing technique, I'm going to actually overdo the highlights just a bit. Because what I really want is just one more wash to even everything out before I glue it down. Next, I'm going to make the executioner's weapon. The iron battle axe itself. I originally was hoping to 3D print this, but I couldn't find a ready-made STL file for it, and I still don't know how to use Blender, so I'm just going to try something here. By drawing the head of the axe twice and cutting both pieces out of plasticard, my goal is to attach a wire handle and maybe cover the whole thing in Milliput. Let's just give it a try. Okay, so that actually worked out not too bad. I'm surprised and relieved. Now to paint the axe. The metal part is a little bigger than I would like, but I'm honestly happier with it than I thought I was going to be. While I really enjoy 3D printing and how that can enhance my art, I like being able to build things from scratch too. It forces me to get creative with the process, which is always my favorite kind of challenge. Time to glue all the props down, starting with the axe and the stump, the wicker basket, and the butterflies, which feels fitting as butterflies often represent death and new beginnings. Next, I'm feeding this mini LED through what will be the top part of the lantern. I made this off camera as a last-minute decision to house the lighting. And using some painted floral wire, I'm creating some thick vines that will hang from the top part and attach at the base, as depicted in the actual scene. Okay, I promised in my last video I would be back with more soldering, as I'm pretty new to it and didn't feel at all confident in my skills last time. However, this time I felt like a pro. It took me no time at all, and now the possibilities for what I can build are endless. Kind of. You guys, soldering is easy. Just practice. So now it's time to get the diorama to actually fit inside of the lantern, which was harder than it looks, and the glass panels kept trying to slide out and crush everything, but luckily I avoided disaster. And if you've been asking yourself, where's the blood? Well, I didn't forget. It is the Ratway after all. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below what you want to see me build next time. Until then, bye!